This king makes a deal with the devil to kill 100,000 soldiers. But something more sinister has been planned for him and his family. Before we delve in, please subscribe. In the Middle Ages, the Turkish Sultan had a diabolical plan to enslave 1,000 boys and turn them into ruthless killing machines, devoid of any conscience. Among these hostages was Vlad Tepes, the Prince of Wallachia and Transylvania, who was trained to become the most feared warrior of the lot. He was called Vlad the Impaler, for his gruesome method of slaughtering thousands by impaling them on spears. But as he grew older, he began to realize the horrors of his actions and the toll it was taking on his soul. Eventually, he put aside his past and returned to rule his domains in peace. Vlad and his men stumble upon a helmet from a Turkish scout near a river. This discovery sends shivers down Vlad's spine, as he fears that the Turks are advancing towards Transylvania once again. Captain Petru notices that the helmet has claw marks on it, which only adds to the growing sense of unease. Vlad sends Petru back to the castle to protect his people from the Turks. Vlad notices a mountain to which the enemies might be hiding. Vlad and 2 other men climb the Broken Tooth mountain to find a cave. Shortly, a swarm of bats fly out the cave. As they enter, they discover many pieces of armor with slash marks thrown all over the place, surrounded by the bones of other men. As they explore the cave, a sense of foreboding grows, and they soon realize that they are not alone. From the shadows, a creature stalks the men and then attacks the 2 men before trying to get Vlad. Vlad luckily slashes at the creature with his sword, holding it back. The creature stares and growls at Vlad, showing its soulless yellow eyes before retreating into the shadows. Vlad notices the blood of the creature evaporate in the sunlight. Vlad immediately takes a run for it, and goes to consult a friend over the nature of this beast. His friend explains that this particular creature is a vampire. It was said to have been a man that made a deal with a creature like itself, turning it into a monster that lures men and feeds on them, waiting for the one that will set him free. Vlad returns home to Castle Dracula to his wife Myrina and son, Indras. Both of them are happy to see him and are glad he continues to keep their family and the kingdom safe. Vlad fails to reveal what happened in the cave to his wife, but it did not stop them from having a good time. During a feast, where they are celebrating 10 years of peace, a Turkish emissary, Hamza Bey, arrives with a message from the Sultan Mehmed II. Vlad gives Hamza and his men many silver coins and sends them away. Before leaving, Hamza tells Vlad and everyone else that Mehmed has demanded 1,000 boys for his own army. Everyone is outraged, and Myrina fears her own boy will be among those chosen. The other Turks taunt the Transylvanians' children, but Vlad immediately puts a stop to this. At night, Vlad's son Indras is scared that his father would give him away to the Turks, but Vlad puts his mind at peace and tells him it would never happen. The next morning, Vlad goes to the Turkish camp to negotiate with Mehmed the Turkish Sultan. Vlad offers to hand himself over, believing himself to be worth more than 1,000 boys, but Mehmed refuses and orders the boys to come to him, along with Vlad's own son. Vlad and his family are escorted to meet with Hamza and other Turks to hand Indras over, but Myrina strongly disagrees with it, and is in tears. Vlad walks with his boy over to Hamza, seemingly ready to surrender, but Vlad whispers to Indras, "Run to your mother, now!" While Indras runs, and Vlad grabs his sword, chopping off Hamza's arms and then slashing his face. With ease and rapid movement, Vlad kills the rest of the Turks with ease, living up to his reputation as Vlad the Impaler. He immediately sends his wife and the children to the castle as he goes to seek help or alliance. Fearing a brutal retaliation from Mehmed, Vlad returns to the mountain where he encounters the creature that almost claimed his life. After he climbs the mountain and enters the cave, the vampire creature presents himself to Vlad, sensing that he has come with hope, and asks why a man would crawl into his grave in search of hope. Vlad says he is desperate, and that he wants to become a monster to fight back against his enemies. The vampire warns Vlad that he can grant him this power, but he must resist the urge to feed off blood for 3 days, and then he will regain his mortality. He sinks his teeth into his wrist, pouring his blood into a shell for Vlad to drink. Vlad downs it, and then asks, "What now?" The master vampire tells him, "Now you die." Vlad collapses and later wakes up lying on rocks by the river. He sees his skin starting to burn off at the contact of silver. Then he presses down on a rock and crushes it. He now has heightened senses and is able to sense the motions of all the creatures in the woods. Vlad also finds that he is able to fly away in the form of a flock of bats. Sure enough, the Turks begin launching their attack on Transylvania. Vlad returns to the castle. He ensures that his family is safe. As the soldiers begin marching ahead, Vlad senses them and sees all their moves. Now moving faster and stronger than before, he is able to lay waste to the entire army, taking them out one by one, leaving them all dead in the dirt. In the end, he defeats over 1,000 armies. After the battle, Vlad tells his comrades not to ask him how he defeated the enemies, and they should trust that he would use all he has to keep them safe. Vlad orders his people to leave the kingdom and move toward a monastery where they may find sanctuary. Not long after they set out, they camp in a forest at night. He later begins to feel an intense thirst for blood. He leaves the sight of his men to avoid turning on them. He joins Myrina in a tent, and they begin to kiss. Vlad takes his shirt off, and Myrina feels his back and notices Vlad's battle scars are no longer there. The thirst only builds as Vlad senses Myrina's jugular vein, forcing him to pull back from the intimacy. He leaves her again. Later at night, while walking through the woods, a man comes by Vlad with a knife. The man knows what kind of creature Vlad has become, and he cuts his hand, spilling his blood in a cup for Vlad to drink. Vlad throws the cup out of his hands. The man retreats, referring to Vlad as his master. Vlad sees the blood on the ground and kneels as though he will drink it, but he holds back yet again. Myrina becomes suspicious about what Vlad has become. He cuts open the tent to bring in sunlight, and shows his skin burning to her. He assures her that he made this deal to protect her and their son. She accepts this. Mehmed and his men move closer to reaching the Transylvanians. They come across the battlefield to find Mehmed's captain laying before the corpses of the Turkish soldiers mounted on spears. The Transylvanians walk through the woods again, only to get ambushed by another group of Turks. Vlad morphs into his bat form and swoops in to attack the Turks. Petru protects Myrina and Indras. Two Turks corner them by the edge of a cliff. Petru stands before Myrina and Indras to defend them, but he is slashed in the stomach. Vlad comes in just in time to push that Turk over the edge. He goes to his comrade's side as he dies. This intensifies Vlad's pain. The Transylvanians had to keep marching on, till they reached their destination. At the monastery, the people also begin to talk and spread word of what they fear that Vlad has become. Some men go to confront him, holding a sword and offering to kill Vlad and spare him his eventual fate. Vlad refuses, and the man cuts the tent open to let in the sunlight. Vlad's skin begins to burn off again, exposing him to the Transylvanians, who run away in fear. The men begin to throw fire at the tent with Vlad still inside, even as Myrina screams for them to realize he is trying to help them. Moments later, Vlad emerges from the flames with his skin healing. He yells at the people that he did what he did to protect them, and that is why they have been defeating the Turks, and tells them that they are alive only because of him. Myrina goes to calm him down. He orders that they all prepare for battle. He senses that a larger number of Turks begin marching toward the Transylvanians, just as the dawn begins to rise before Vlad loses his power. With the people now standing behind him, Vlad summons an enormous flock of bats and manipulates them to fly in and attack the Turks. With a wave of his hand, he delivers a powerful blow to the soldiers. He clenches his fist and slams down onto the concrete, sending another pounding to the Turks. Vlad flies in himself to finish off Mehmed, while a couple of soldiers infiltrate his sanctuary. Vlad throws one man off his horse, thinking him to be Mehmed, but it isn't. The soldiers find Myrina and Indras. One man punches Myrina in the stomach and pushes her over the edge, leaving her hanging while they abduct Indras. Hearing Myrina's call, Vlad flies back to rescue her. The one soldier that took Indras gets away, but Vlad kills the other. However, he is too late to save Myrina as she falls over the edge. Vlad jumps after her, in an attempt to catch her, but he eventually could not. She hits the ground as Vlad tries to revive her, but knowing her time is up, Myrina allows Vlad to drink her blood so that he may have a chance to save their son from the Turks. Vlad reluctantly bites into Myrina's neck and drinks, ensuring his power is now permanent. Meanwhile, the Turks have infiltrated the Transylvanian walls and taken them out. Vlad then finds the remaining Transylvanians and allows them to drink his blood. He then takes out an armor that he hoped to never bring out again, one with a dragon image engraved in it. At the Turkish army camp, Indras is brought to Mehmed. Vlad and the now vampirized Transylvanians attack the forces, feeding on their blood and massacring them. Vlad makes his way into Mehmed's tent, where silver coins are spread everywhere to play on Vlad's weakness to silver. Vlad takes out his sword and fights Mehmed man-to-man. Mehmed proves to be tough to beat as he keeps throwing silver coins in Vlad's face. He overpowers him and throws him hard to the ground. Mehmed grabs a stake and gets ready to stab Vlad through the heart, saying this is an unfortunate end for Vlad the Impaler. They struggle as the stake is right over Vlad's heart, but Vlad morphs into his bat form and takes the stake from Mehmed, turning it on him and impaling him. He says he is no longer Vlad the Impaler, but Dracula, son of the devil.
But I am no ordinary vampire to be killed by your human magics. I am Vlad Dracula Tepesh, and I have had enough!
He bites into Mehmed's neck and drains him of his blood. Indras runs to his father. Although the Turks are now vanquished, the Transylvanians plot to finish their thirst by taking Indras. One man tries to make the first move against the boy. Dracula grabs a wooden stake and impales Kazan, causing him to rot and decay into nothing but a skeleton. The other Transylvanians advance toward Dracula and Indras, until Vlad's trusted friend intervenes and holds a cross against them. Dracula lets his friend take Indras to be safe, and Vlad tells his boy he loves him. Indras hugs his father one last time as Dracula parts the clouds and lets the sun hit him and the Transylvanians, burning them until they are all dead, including himself. After Vlad's death, Indras is later crowned the new Prince of Transylvania. Elsewhere, the man from the woods revives Dracula by feeding him his own blood. Indras senses that his father may yet still be out there somewhere. We jump to the present day. Dracula is able to walk among the people. He sees a woman in town that looks exactly like Myrina. Dracula introduces himself as Vlad, and the woman says her name is Mina. The two walk away together, unaware that the original vampire, now reverted to his human form, is watching from afar. He gets up and follows them, muttering to himself, "Let the games begin." The end. Please subscribe to this channel for more videos like this. See you next time.